so let's play, Katawa Shoujo. Do I really? Let me just check something here. Ah. Too many tabs open so it like freaking doesn't fit on the screen. Whatever. Damn it, I'm not happy. C major. I don't even know, man. Reason I play, but yeah, this is like has absolutely nothing to do with this at all. But I've been playing guitar past videos. I'm always playing guitar at least a bit throughout the day, but you get the idea. And I've been playing along to soundtracks, whether it be video game, movie, or whatever. And I don't know, I felt like sharing this because it sounds nice on guitar, but I can't figure out the other bit of it. How'd it go again? I don't know how it goes after that, but recognize it from Disney's Dinosaur. I always liked that melody, and I played it, and I was just like, okay, let's try to figure it out. It has so many key changes throughout it, because that's to be expected with an instrumental soundtrack piece. Like, I think, like, the start of it was, like, C major. I was just kind of messing around, just like... And that seemed to fit, but then it switched. I can't remember what it switched to, but it eventually switched to G sharp. And then when it got to the that's F major or D minor. I just don't know what goes right after that. It's really bugging me. It's got nothing to do with this, so, well, if anything, that is the same key as this. Okay, there's enough of that. Unplug. So that I don't end up just going back to playing guitar like that. I just felt like sharing that because, well, there's a lot more than that, but, you know, don't get too freaking sidetracked here. Let's get on with the plot. Shizune's round has officially begun. It's probably not the most appropriate time to reminisce since I have a test first period. I suppose it wasn't the best time to, you know, just improvise on guitar, but then again, what time would I freaking do that in these videos? I just freaking do it randomly. Like, get it out of the way, you know? It's so unfair. How could they do this? They hold a festival that is the culmination of what has to be at least a few weeks worth of work on a Sunday, and then follow up with exams starting the very next morning. It's got to be some kind of sick joke. I'm not too worried about it, but I wonder if they really couldn't have held off on this for at least another week. Well, at least the weather this morning is nice enough that I can study outside before class. It's a lot more refreshing out here than it would be in the classroom, not to mention with how quiet it is. I'm starting to think that everyone else will be sleeping in pretty late today. I put down the notes I'm reviewing for a second and stare out at the school grounds, still littered with festival stalls. Looking at them now in the daytime, without paper lanterns or crowds of people to draw my attention away from them, I noticed something peculiar. There's a lot of stalls that Shizune, Misha, and I visited last night also happened to be ones that we worked on. That's cute. Did Shizune come up with this? It had to be intentional, especially knowing her. Did she hope that I would catch on and see the fruit of our labors? Wait. Okay. Oh, speaking of which, I hear footsteps crunching the ground behind me and turn around. I feel slightly paranoid, but all I find is Shizune standing there with an innocuous look on her face. That is the correct pronunciation, right? I'm gonna check. Innocuous? What? You see, this is a thing, man. Not only are the words that I'm not familiar with pronunciation-wise, but when I actually hear the pronunciation, it's nothing like I would. I mean, innocuous or whatever the freaking hell. That makes it sound like he's gone A, but it's a fucking I. God damn it, why does language have to be so that's like the pronunciation and the spelling half the time aren't the same? What's even the point? I mean, sure, it looks more fancier than if you'd like. Because if you spelled everything the way you pronounce it, well, language would look very different. But really, if it was like that all along, we would think that this right here would look weird. You'd be like, oh man, it doesn't look how it's supposed to be. That's bad spelling or some shit. I don't know. Wouldn't make any sense. I don't even know. That'd be a weird scenario though, and it's if like instead of spelling words the way we do now, we spell them completely how we pronounce them. Who knows? Maybe there's a language that's like that. On her look on her face, essentially. Good morning. Why do I keep forgetting that she can't hear me? It's probably because I've gotten so used to Misha translating for both of us that I haven't actually run into many situations where I was forced to acknowledge Shizune's deafness and the problems that would stem from it. I think yesterday was worse. I give her a wave anyway. I can at least do this much, but I'm not even going to pretend for a minute that I could hold up a conversation with her, considering my ignorance of sign language. Would it be rude to just go back to my notes? I don't really know what else I can do. Where's Misha? You just freaking... Why? Not just because I can't understand you. You two are always together anyway, so I'm all used to seeing you apart. I know it's silly, but for some reason talking to her makes me feel less awkward. Surprisingly, she doesn't get mad at all. She starts signing, but it's different than usual. Shizune's hands move more slowly, and the gestures are simpler. I quickly realized that this isn't sign language at all, but she still attempted to communicate with me. So, is this the sign language equivalent of breaking it down into layman's terms? I'm terrified that if I attempt to gesticulate back, I'd just look like a total dumbass. The look on Shizune's face tells me that she is starting to think that trying to have any kind of back and forth like this is not exactly the best way to accomplish things. There has to be a better way. Write it down, dumbass! Writing on a pad? Well, I do have paper and a pencil. What else do? Cell phones? I don't really have much use for mine here, so I barely carry it around, and I don't know if Shizune even has one. She takes the initiative, holding up a finger to ask for a pause before pulling out a pad and pen from her bag and writing a single word on it. Hello. I stare blankly at her and receive a similar but somehow more intimidating stare in response. She nudges the pad in my direction forcefully, clearly wanting me to reply. Good morning. Shizune beams with a disproportionate amount of happiness. She starts twirling her pen triumphantly as she thinks about where to go from here. Oh, come on, it's not like we just invented fire. Shizune pushed up her glasses curtly as if she had heard me, and then starts writing at a furious pace, and rips the paper. Use the notepad! Right! I'm confused. Am I supposed to take it from her and write okay now? This is about the first thing I could imagine from a smooth, flowing conversation. Makes me envy the ease with which Misha is able to communicate with Shizune. Are you studying for the test? I'm pretty sure I can get away with answering simple yes or no questions like this with nods. You are here very early. Most people sleep in late after the festival. That means you are abnormal. You know, maybe I should... Well, she doesn't have a voice because she's deaf and all, but still, maybe actually try to give a voice? I don't know. Is that so? You're here too. Before handing that response back to her, though, I remember what I'd noticed earlier and add. Yes, it was fun. I noticed today that I built a lot of the stalls we went to. Maybe that's why they were so familiar. Was this another game? She shakes her head from side to side indignantly. No tricks. I thought that because you had made those stalls, they were the most important ones. You had to visit them because everyone should be able to appreciate the fruit of their labors. I wanted you to be able to see and enjoy what we had done. What you had done, I mean. Well, we technically as well works. I'm sort of touched. Still, I have to wonder why she would go out of her way, and I ask as much in my response. Because you were depressed. I want to say that I was depressed for days, but stop. It's true. I was moping quite a bit, and not being too subtle about it half the time. So it's possible that she knew. Was everything she did just cheer me up then? Thanks. I mumble it before I can catch myself, but Shizune doesn't seem to care. I write it down instead, and she nods once as if unused to it. The silence between us grows more vast with each passing second, and there's nothing I can do to break it. Okay, picture that in your mind now. Imagine Hisao is he's thinking of the awkward the silence between them and how awkward it is. And then suddenly he pulls a guitar out of nowhere and just starts strumming chords like I just did. It's like, what the fuck? Having to write everything down on paper kind of destroys any hope of trying to be casual. Good luck on the exam. Yeah, I don't know what kind of voice to give her, honestly, because, well, she doesn't have one. But obviously, when he's eventually learned sign language, I imagine we're going to see, Shizune's name right here, and then we'll actually have dialogue, except it's, in sign language, but they're obviously going to have it, written. Otherwise, they're just like, what the hell are they talking about? Translation? Shizune pushes the pad right in front of my eyes, breaking my concentration, taking the initiative again, as always. As she walks into the school building, I can't help feeling a little sad. That felt like the longest 20 minutes of my life, and all because it's so alien to me to have a face-to-face conversation with someone by passing notes to each other that I can't help coming up blank most of the time. Makes me want to learn sign language. That's easier said than done, although in a school like Imaku, they might very well have sign language classes. In that case, there would be little reason not to pursue this. The only person who I can think of to ask at the moment is Misha. How badly do I want to know this? There's two questions. Wait until after class, or go look for her now. I guess I'll go look now, but I'm not certain where she is. My best bet would be to start searching for her in the girls' dorm. Though, after all, if she wasn't with Shizune, that's probably the only place where she would be. A guy casually prowling around the girls' dorm early in the morning is unacceptable, but asking Misha about sign language class in front of Shizune would be just unthinkable. She has to come to school sometime. After all, we're in the same class, so she has to take this test. If I wait here, I'll be sure to see her sooner or later. I just hope she doesn't walk past me while I'm flipping through my notes. Turns out to be a pretty long wait, so students file into the school. I wonder if Misha's going to be late. If Eventually I catch sight of her while she bounces across the ground. It hits me that I'd have to be blind to miss her with her incredibly distinctive hair. Seriously, how... I mean, it's kind of typical anime style and all that to have like unusual hairstyles, but it's still just... well, whatever. Hi, Hee-chan, good morning! Morning. I only have a lot of time left before class starts, so I cut directly to the chase. Hey, can I ask you a question? A question? Okay, Hee-chan, sure. I have time, but only because I'm late. What does that mean? I should have woken up earlier, but I was so tired. If I had, I would have to study, but since I didn't, it won't hurt. What is it, Hee-chan? Well, there are sign language classes here, right? Yep, they're electives. Why do you want to know, Hee-chan? For some reason, that question briefly makes me panic. No reason, it sounds interesting, but I guess it's too late to sign up now, right? Oh, come on, man. Just be honest, man. I mean, really now. You could say anything, just like, and make it easier to, communicate with Shizune, talk to her. But obviously, he's just like, or maybe it'd be like, oh, so you like Shizune, eh? And just like, I won't tell her, the typical kind of, behavior that tends to happen with those situations, but whatever. I'm not exactly being too subtle here, no shit. But Misha never seems to pick up on things like that anyway, so I'm probably being more cautious than is necessary. Well, Hee-chan, I've heard there are fewer and fewer students taking sign language every year. So, if you want to, I'm sure they will let you in. Are you thinking of learning sign language, Hee-chan? Yeah. If you learn sign language, Hee-chan, that would make Shi-chan really happy. If you want, we can go to the teacher's office after school. They'll probably let you in. That would be great. Don't tell Shizune that I want to learn it, though. Why not? So it can be a surprise. Besides, it'll look bad if you tell her this morning, and then I find out in the afternoon that I can't take classes. Oh, you're right, Hee-chan. Still, this will be hard. It's such good news. I'm in the student council, so I might as well try learning it. Even if it's just the basics, it'd be a step up from nothing. Besides, Shizune and I can't really keep relaying everything through you as if you're a phone or something, right? Awkward silence. You're right, Hee-chan. The bell rings to signal the start of first period, cutting our conversation short. I guess I'll just ask a teacher after classes are through. Her reaction was a little strange, but I forget about it as the day goes on. The bell rings and the teacher at the front of the room just before the classes are all over for the day. Although getting into this class was surprisingly easy, it's only been a few days and I'm still not used to the experience. The actual signing is easier to pick up than I expected, but most of my classmates are hard of hearing. What, you're already in class for that? On top of that, the teacher favors immersion. I haven't heard her speak since I asked if I could take the class. It's an alien concept and really unnerving. As I said, my sister took up sign language for some reason, and I think she said the same thing about the classes that she went to. It's just like, I don't know. I think it was something like that anyway, where it's like, right off the bat, it's like, okay, you're going to learn sign language, but we're not going to actually speak at all during this entire thing. The moment I step out of the classroom, I hear a familiar laugh explode through the air a short distance to my left. Hi, Hee-chan! Misha is not in my sign language class, so this is the first time I've seen her in this context. I still don't know whether her not being in my class is good or bad. It'd be more interesting with her in it, but the potential for awkward situations would increase drastically. I mean, you saw that animation in the previous part. Hi. It's a surprise to see you here, Hee-chan. That's right, you're taking sign language, aren't you, right? What do you think of it so far, Hee-chan? It's not easy to learn a new language, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. despite how different it is from other languages, it's still easier than English. I just find it weird, you know, because, like, this is all in English, but it's set in Japan, so it just seems like a big contradiction when I'm reading this, isn't it? It's like, oh, it's still easier than English, though. I'm speaking English right now! I think that's the thing with language, it doesn't matter how difficult a language is, if you grew up and learnt a language, it doesn't matter if it's a difficult language or not, you will freaking be good at it because you were freaking raised, exposed to this at an early age and learnt this language. But when you get older and try to learn another language, it doesn't matter what it is, it's going to be a bit more difficult than that. I mean, like, I've been learning a bit of Japanese and all that. Still, kind of difficult. I don't know how to form a sentence for the most part. And, like, I also want to learn Welsh at some point as well. And I imagine that, well, I don't know, maybe it'll be easier than Japanese for Welsh, because there's quite a big difference there, isn't it? Like, Welsh is more like a European kind of language. I think it would qualify as a European language. It's the oldest language, I think, in the UK, at least. It's one of the older languages. And, yeah, I have no idea. I only know a few Welsh words like castell, I think is castle, I think it was, and I freaking have no idea. I'm just like, when I think of, like, I remember in school, like, you count from 1 to 10, you know, that basic thing, you know, it's like, you learn a new language, it's count to 10, and it was like, I freaking can't remember. And yet now I can freaking go 1 to 10 with a Japanese easy. It's like Ichi, ni, san, yon, go, roku, nana, was it hashi? Or was it something else? I already freaking forgot, so scratch that. Ichi, ni, san, yon, go, Roku, Nana, Hachi, Kyu, Ju. I think. Wait. Yeah. I think that's 1 to 10. Ichi, ni, san, yan, yon. That's not yan, it's yon. Go, Roku, Nana, Hachi. Q, Jew. Jew. Like I freaking said in the previous part, I find it kind of random how the number 13 is Jew-san, essentially. It really does sound like somebody who expects someone to run down the road just shouting to someone who's Jewish, but they don't know their name, so they're just like, Jew-san! Well, anyways, really, Hee-chan? You know, back to the sign language thing, I probably wouldn't be, I mean, can you technically, I don't know, do sign language using just one hand? If not, then I don't know how I'd be able to manage with some of the gestures using both hands, because my left hand, missing finger, one of my fingers permanently bent forward a bit, can't really, you know, use it for much. I can't even, you know, like, people when they flash, like, the peace sign, just like, peace, or they just, like, you know, give the horn, just like, yeah, rock on, and all that shit. Can't do that with my left hand. Not even the peace, nothing. I can't even properly, like, give the middle finger, or the two fingers, just like, fuck off. I can't do that with my left hand without it looking weird. So I don't know how I'd be able to do sign language, just like based simply on that. I agree. She agrees with me. Well, what were we talking about again? What was the context there? It's not easy to learn, I guess. What? So it's just like, really, Chen? I agree. Whatever. I was just joking, but she is apparently totally serious. I wonder how Misha can effortlessly translate things to me while simultaneously having a conversation with Shizune in a different language like she does. Can you imagine speaking in 2 different languages, like, at the same time? I mean, that's technically impossible. But, I mean, like, you know, you go from one language to the next, and you just, like, you say a word in one language, and then a word in the other language, and then the next word in the other language, and back and forth, back and forth. It sounds really weird, I'd imagine. Until now, I've taken for granted how amazing it is. Someone bumps into my shoulder and apologizes. It's getting kind of crowded here, what with it being the end of the day and all. I think we should talk somewhere else instead of the hallway. Let's go to the roof or something. Okay! I decide to continue talking on the way. It's surprisingly quiet enough to carry on a conversation while doing so. It still takes me some time to get used to having to look at the teacher constantly. I guess I took all those years of simply listening to the lectures while I doodled for granted. Makes taking notes a lot more difficult too. The introductory class is small and I'm already behind. I guess I have a lot of stuff to do. Yeah, this is much better. I turn around to look back at Misha and see her staring at me with her hands on her hips and her cheeks puffed outwards. Hee-chan, you're behind? That's no good at all! I started the class a week later than everyone else. It's not that bad. Wait, but didn't we only start or have we skipped a few days or some shit? Probably. Okay, Hee-chan, let's review what you learned then. I'll tutor you, okay? This is the first time I've heard I'll tutor you used outside of dirty movies. Huh? Oh. I'm not nearly as turned on as I'd have expected. What? Whatever. I don't know if I need a tutor yet. I mean, I have a dirty mind, man, but that's not the first thing I'd think when someone would say, oh, I'll tutor you. First thing that comes to my mind wouldn't be, you know, what he's thinking. It's like, oh yeah, pornography in those dirty movies, yes. No, I would just think, oh, you know, because, like, people actually, you know, not just like, we'll tutor, but then we'll have sex. No, this actually is tutor. I don't know. I don't know if I need a tutor yet. She looks more disappointed than usual. It makes me feel awkward to see her making that kind of face. I want to be a sign language teacher, Hee-chan, but it would be really great if I could try tutoring someone in it first. Even if it's for a little while, the experience would be valuable. Yeah, that's true. I didn't know you wanted to be a sign language teacher. It's hard to believe she isn't intentionally trying to make me feel guilty, because she's very good at it. Still, it makes sense. She's very good at sign language already from what I've seen, and certainly has the voice for dealing with the hearing impaired. Indeed, I never saw her as the teaching type, though. Haha, it's the reason why I wanted to go to this school, Hee-chan. It's also really expensive to attend here, you know. Because I want to be a sign language teacher, I have reduced the tuition fees. If it wasn't for that, I don't know if I'd be able to keep going here. I see. It's not that I think you would be bad at tutoring, it's just that I don't know if I need it just yet. You're right, Hee-chan, you're smart. Well, no, that just makes me sound arrogant. Alright, please tutor me. Really? Okay. Yay. Thanks, Hee-chan, I'll do my best. Let's start right now. Too soon. I miss Hee-chan. Didn't you just see her this morning? But it's hard to talk to her in class, Hee-chan. There's no student council today, either. Well, there have been exams all week. I'd be kind of mad if there was still student council. I'd be glad when they are over. When it's back, we're not going to skip out, right, Hee-chan? Did he say your or what she said? But stumbling. Of course, I'm in it after all. Don't worry, I'm not going to just suddenly stop showing up. I promise is a promise. We should pause for a second, not looking very convinced. Hee-chan takes the student council very seriously, Hee-chan. And that you've joined, she works harder than before since she wants to make a good impression. Some other people join at first, but they stopped coming out soon after. Hee-chan tried to get more people interested in the student council, but wasn't successful. Even when someone would join, they'd stop coming eventually. She'd make excuses and just put it off more and more until they stopped coming altogether. However, I believe that you really mean it, Hee-chan. My eyes stay focused on her hands, tilting and moving almost of their own free will, softly signing everything she is saying to herself as she speaks. When he said you would join, she was really happy. Shi-chan thinks you're interested, He-chan. An uninteresting person who won't have the drive need to join. Even if they do, a person that isn't interesting will quit soon after. That's what Shi-chan said. So it's my duty to make sure you keep going. Is that why you wanted to tutor me? You're kind of sneaky. Really, He-chan? That's the first time that anyone has said that about me. There's no chance that I would avoid student council work now. Thinking back over the past few days, I start to realize that the only reason that I joined in the first place was because of Shizune. Her competitiveness and force of will are alluring. It's like, oh, completely forget about Misha entirely. I can't tell Misha that, though. Okay, He-chan, let's review what you learned in class today. You don't even know what I learned in class today. You're right, He-chan. Okay, let's start with the basics then. I'll just teach you everything from the beginning. You're kidding, right? Huh? You're serious? That's like days of lessons, and we're not even learning on the same level. It's like riding a bike, He-chan. You never forget the basics. Ha ha ha! I don't know how to ride a bike, though. Oh, no. Right. I want to be a teacher one day, so of course I know what I'm doing. Okay. We're starting. She looks like she's trying very hard, so this could be bad. Well, learning a language is vastly different from teaching it, and the first step is usually the hardest part. Honestly, I couldn't do any better. You know, it reminds me, with guitar, just it's like so many things become simpler to me, second nature. It's like riding a bike, like she said. Once you get used to it, it's just like nailed it, essentially, you know? I just think, maybe I could, do, guitar videos where it's just like, okay, here's how to play this or that, but the way I ramble, I wouldn't freaking be good at teaching. We'd just be like, okay, now let's do this here. We will play a D major 7. The strum here, it's quite a nice chord. You can also play the D major 7 chord this way. You can also play it this way. And now as for the notes in the chord, you've got a D, you've got an A, you've got a C sharp, that's the dominant, well, not the dominant 7, sorry, I'm rambling, no, I'm not rambling, well now I am, but whatever, that's the 7th note, that makes it a major 7. So, and then the next note is a F sharp, and then back to D. So really, the only notes in this chord is D, A, C sharp, and F sharp. Those are the notes you have to look out for, and you can play it from the 5th fret on the A string, the 7th fret on the D string, the 6th fret on the G string, ha 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 ha, and the 7th string on the B string, and then finally the 5th string on the high E string. Combine it all together, and you get a major 7. D major 7 to be exact, but if you move it, say, a tone upwards, you will get E major 7. Go the opposite way, and you will get C major 7. And then continue, and you'll get B flat major 7. Or you could do F major 7, or perhaps C sharp major 7. It's just like, what the hell are you even talking about? So yeah, I wouldn't be good at freaking teaching that. Still, the thing is, in my mind, it's like, yeah, I could do that. I've figured out a bunch of stuff, and with my guitar teachers helped a lot with me learning all this stuff. It's like, I could share this knowledge, but I wouldn't be freaking good at teaching it. Knows. It's like, it takes a special type of talent for that, isn't it? It's like, you can know everything there is to know about something, but it doesn't mean you'll be good at teaching it. Anyways, still, sign language was formally introduced in the 18th century by a Frenchman named, whose name I can't pronounce, and he started the first public school for the deaf in 1755. But the unwritten history of sign language is said to... You know, I remember actually reading about this freaking thing the other day. I can't remember his name either. I think he was in his teens when he came up with the idea. I can't remember his name though. I'm gonna look it up. Actually, never mind. My internet connection is pure shit. I don't really know where to start. Sorry, well, what better place to start than the history of sign language, right? No, wait, maybe the alphabet. Okay, the alphabet it is then. Okay, Hee-chan, this is pretty basic stuff. Although some people think that this is all of signing, and forget that there are all kinds of specific gestures and words. Although you can't really get anywhere else without the basics, this is A. Do you see it? Now you try. I already know this, though. I humor her anyway. Haha, yeah, that's it. Now this is B and this is C. My god, when you really think about it, how many friggin' gestures could there possibly be, man? Must be a shit ton of different ones. If you got a signing just for the letters of the alphabet, probably same for numbers as well. I mean, man, Misha makes one symbol with each hand without specifying which is which. And now D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Yeah, this is bad. Do you think Shizune wants to do some student council work today anyway? We could go. Of course not, Hee-chan. Come on, I'll do it again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Your turn. So there's really no student council work that needs doing or anything like that. What are you talking about, Hee-chan? Come on, sign! Like this? No, like this! Like this! Huh? I wish Hee-chan was here. This would be so much easier with her. That's how sign language is taught most of the time anyway, with 2 instructors. Did you know that, Hee-chan? No. I let my brain run through what this would be like if Shizune were here. Hee-chan, are you paying attention? Yeah. Hee-chan says that sign language is different from any other because you have to think about everything before you say it. That means every word has more weight, Hee-chan. Every single one is more important than another. That noble. So, with that, you know how people will just like what I'm doing right here. I'm just rambling. You can't really do that with sign language. That'd seem odd, wouldn't it? Well, you could. Can you imagine that? Sign language. Using sign language and you're rambling while doing so. You're just like, what the fuck are you trying to say with this? It's like, sorry, you're rambling. I wonder how that would look in sign language. Say, sorry, I'm rambling. So, pay attention, please. She continues her basic rundown of the basics of sign language. Eventually, she starts talking about stuff I start to recognize. In the end, I'm impressed. It took a bit of stumbling to get there, but as a teacher, she's pretty good when she's serious. After a while, I start to notice that it's getting late, so I thank Misha, bid her goodbye, and go back to my dorm. I learned a lot today. Do 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 do